Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. In the last video, we pulled the head off this 2002 oil-burning Corolla. Today, we're going to pull the pistons and examine them, as well as the valve stem oil seals in the head. The evidence we uncover in this video might just be unprecedented on YouTube, and might forever change auto repair. Let's get into it. So we're going to turn the crank so we get access to a couple of caps to make sure we don't bind up the timing chain. I think I'm going to go back up and bungee it again. So let's do 1 and 4. So, alright, we got 1 and 4 where we need them. Oh boy. Yes. Shoot, these are about as tight as the head bolts. Break that loose so we can get to this one, and of course not. We're gonna have to take that oil pickup tube off. Okay. We got to make sure to keep these all in order because all of these caps have to go on the exact same part of the crank. I wonder if there's a trick to this. Yeah, that opened it up. Alright, there is one cap right there. Both of the holes for the pins are on the number 1 side, the near side, with all the pulleys, the front of the engine. To push the pistons out, it's recommended to use a 1/4 inch extension and to push in the holes here. So we'll do that. The pistons actually seem to be moving pretty easily, so this shouldn't be too bad. I gotta be careful not to scratch anything. Okay. Going up. I'm not going to touch this bearing here. Be super careful. Let's go up top and see what it looks like. We are not out of the woods yet. Try pushing on the other one. Need a longer extension. It's not coming out. Let's see if we can finagle it from this side. Oh, look at that. There's the top ring. Totally loose. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to get a wooden dowel or something long to stick up inside there and push this out. Okay, I found this skinny wooden dowel. I'm gonna crawl under there and stick it up inside. Go past the bearing right here, hit the bottom. A little tap with the hammer. Are we moving? Uh-oh, I'm getting stuck on something. Let's see how far we got. There we go. This is going to end up pulling the head gasket off. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we should have just taken the head gasket off. Alright. Take that off. Comes piston number 1. Now for a video record, these dowels, as I mentioned, the dowel holes are on the front side of the engine. So we'll just keep this all aligned. But look at this. Look at this. Alright, I'm going to take this over to the bench to show you. Alright, here we are. Top ring, definitely not stuck. Oil ring, not stuck. Second ring has popped out of place. Probably got hooked on the head gasket, but it is not stuck either. So if these rings were stuck, something we used has cleaned it entirely up. Look at those things. Look at those things spinning freely. I have not cleaned this piston. You saw me just pull it out. This is like completely freed up. All of it. Oil ring, top ring, scraper ring. I mean, that is just as easy as anything. You can see they're totally clean. Pop that top ring out. Second ring out. Oh, I broke the second ring. I don't know what I'm doing. I read that the second ring is very brittle. Well, there you go. That will be a warning to be careful with the new rings. We get the oil ring out. Oh, these are easy. Rotate that out. Oh, there we go. It's got a little wire inside of it. Alright. So there are the notorious drain back holes, which are obviously totally clear. But maybe they are just not enough to drain it, or maybe we have a problem with the valve stem seals. We'll see that shortly. Number 1, let's get the rest. Now we'll work on number 4. There we go. I think that worked. Extension in the hole. I think it came out. Yes, indeed. Pop that out. And I don't know if y'all can see that. Totally free rings, every single one of them. Every single one. Is this going to end up being valve stem seals? Did we just waste our time doing this entire thing for valve stem seals? Or is it the oil drain back holes are too few? I guess it's a learning process. We'll see. I'll turn the crank around and do number 2 and 3. Let's say we just do these at the same time. Save ourselves a trip up top. Oh, this one's going to pop off immediately. Number 3. Number 2. Number 3. Nope. There we go. Number 2. Careful. Have a look before I take it over there. All the rings are free. Free and clean. Every single one of them. And here's number 3. Gentle. Once again, all the rings are free, every single one, and clean, no carbon, no gunk, no nothing. Now before I put this to bed for the night, I'm gonna rub some oil in all the cylinders, make sure they don't rust. Alright, first of all, let's look at this head gasket. I know we had a few people, not many, that said we probably had a breach in the head gasket that was causing our oil burning. Here's the head gasket. One side, you can see around the cylinders, all the material is still intact. No breaches on this side. And the same, this one even looks better. Same on this side. You can see some of this plastic material, or whatever that is coming off, but not in any vital spots. So I don't think we had a ruptured head gasket. Okay, so in this box, I have the pistons just as they were pulled out of the engine. Nothing has been cleaned. They were taken right out and slipped into these gallon Ziploc bags. And now we will take them out one by one and look at them up close. Here's number one. I already pulled the rings off of this on camera, I believe. I just want you to see this. Look at those ring glands. They are absolutely spotless. Now, you've seen the varnish on this engine, and a lot of people have commented, I can't believe how dirty it was. Look, look at the side of this piston right here, where the oil didn't really get to it. It's pretty dirty. The rod, it's got a lot of varnish on it. But those ring glands, man, those are spotless. And the oil drain back holes, totally clear. Now, were these pistons all caked up before we ran these chemicals through it? I mean, look at the history of these cars, look at the history of this car, look at the varnish, like I said, that was built up on the engine, the probable lack of maintenance. Now, I've only owned this car since it had 175,000-ish miles on it, and I have changed the oil religiously since then, and more so since we've done these experiments. But before that, I don't think someone took very good care of this car. So, was this piston all caked up with stuck rings and clogged drain back holes before the chemical experiments? Will we ever know? We can't know, right? Scientifically, we cannot know. We can make assumptions with the evidence we've been given and the history of these engines, but we cannot know, which kind of stinks because it would have been nice to see beforehand. Here is piston number 3. Sorry, they're out of order, but this is number 3. Still has the rings in it. We're going to pull them out, and I'm assuming this one's going to be clean as a whistle as well. Take out the top ring, and forgive me if I don't know the best way to do this. There's the top ring. Compression ring. Here is the scraper ring, I think some people call it. This one is very brittle. I found out on the last one. I'll see if I can get this out of here. We'll try to do this one without breaking it like the last time. Gently work this around. It broke. I hope I can get these back in here without breaking them. I'm gonna have to see if I can find a video on how that's done. Now let's just look at those two ring glands. Totally clear. No carbon, no gunk. Now we'll take out the bottom ring, oil control ring, which is actually 2 rings and a spring. So this is piston number 3. Those ring glands are spotless. Piston number 2. This was the one that was probably functioning correctly to begin with, as it wasn't covered in oil. Again, before I take it apart, look closely at that. Everything moves. I mean, it's like it's on ball bearings. That's how easy these things move. It's crazy. It's just crazy. To me, you know, I'm not a mechanic, as I've said many times before, and I don't know what good piston rings look like. But look at that end gap there. I know that's an end gap. And to me, that's very hard to press together. So there, in my opinion, is a lot of tension still in this ring. And to me, it doesn't look terribly worn, but I wouldn't know what worn looks like. What is the trick to this? No, I can just feel it's going to break. Oh, there it goes. That one came out. So seems like the trick is to pop one side out, get it over the lip of the piston, and then push away. So here's our first intact scraper ring. That's what this is called. And again, to me, I mean, I'm putting a significant amount of force. I don't know what regular tension piston rings feel like, but it feels like it has decent tension to me. I would imagine, you know, a worn ring, especially one that's worn because they were stuck, I would assume one side would be thinner, more worn down than, say, the other side, or vice versa. But to me, these look, I can't tell these from brand new. When we get out the new rings, maybe we'll do a quick comparison, see if there's anything noticeable to the naked eye, and if the tension seems any different. Get that spring out of there. Absolutely spotless ring lands. Straight out of the engine. Here's number 4. Look at that. Totally loose rings. Every single one of them spin like they're on bearings. Again, feels like it has lots of tension. But what do I know? I'm glad I'm getting practice doing this one. So I'm going to pull out one edge, the second ring, get it over the top. Once I get it over the top, I'm going to start pushing it. Here we go. Oh, I did it! Yay! There's ring number 2. Spring. Here you go. Piston number 4. Again, I say, all we can do is go by the history of this engine, what the varnish looks like, what these engines are notorious for. All the 1ZZ FE engines that I've seen torn down on YouTube because they were oil burners all had gummed up piston rings and clogged oil drain back holes. Is this an exception? Or do the chemicals work? Well, obviously, they didn't fix the oil burning. And here's my thought. So if you go back and look at the comments of tons of the videos I've done, especially the Berryman's videos, there are so many people who have said, I did this and my car burns 0 oil anymore, or I did this and my car burns like 20% of the oil it used to burn. So I think depending on how bad it is, it does work. There are tons of people out there who have these Corollas that have 300,000 miles on them and never had an issue with oil burning. And then there are a lot of people who have these cars and they have, 150,000 miles and they have a bad issue with oil burning. What do I think was going on with this one? So this is my theory, and I think a couple other people in the comments kind of felt the same way. Maybe these rings have lost tension, and since the oil can't get out of the way because of these small drain back holes, and due to the lost tension, when the piston is coming down and the oil has nowhere to go, it basically, instead of the ring scraping the oil, the ring is hydroplaning on top of the oil. I don't know. What do you think? All right, let's take the head apart. I'll let you look at the clean side. Exhaust valves, intake valves. I need to put something under one of these cylinders to hold the valves in while I try to get the springs off. So I'm just going to wad up a few paper towels here and put that right under there. Should be okay. Okay, I got my Valve Master from Toyo Tool. Hope I remember how to use this. I think I use this end to get them off. Yep, there's one. There is the valve stem oil seal. Here are the valve stem oil seal pliers. We're going to see how easy it is to move this valve stem oil seal. Seems to be stuck on there pretty good. Did I get it? Yeah, I got it. Okay. Intake valve stem oil seal on number 1, cylinder number 1. You saw how easy that was to get out or not? Now, let's see how wobbly this valve is. We're going to grab that valve and we're going to try to wiggle it. You can't really see me trying to wiggle it, but I'll just tell you, there is no wiggle room in there. Very, very, very tight tolerance. The guide is good. Well, we got that open. Might as well put the new valve stem oil seal on. I ordered this kit from, I think it was Parts Geek. This is the head gasket set. Now it says Stone, and I think that's the same as Ishino, which I'm hoping Ishino is the original. I'm also hoping they put the valve stem oil seals in here. Yes, yes they did. Have them divided by intake and exhaust. I think they should say N or X, IN or EX, on whichever ones are what. But I need a magnifying glass. So there's an E on this. NOK. Anyway, so I think these are the exhaust ones. Let's split open the other side. See if these say intake on them. NOK 2:22. Compare it to the one we just pulled out. Here's the old one. The old one actually says IN on it for intake. I guess the new intake one does not say IN. I'm going to assume the one with the E is the exhaust. Get a little oil here. Just kind of get inside there. Carefully and gently push it. Some of them come with these little sleeves that help you put them on without damaging them. I don't see any little sleeves in here. We're going to turn the tool around this side and this side. Put that over there. There it goes. Well, see, now I just felt it click. Now I'm just going to test it with these pliers. No, I can't pull it off. So that is on like it's supposed to be. Now, the valve spring back in. I know some of y'all are thinking you need to clean up this head first, and I probably should have. Keepers in there. Probably going to be too tedious to film this whole thing. But got the keepers in there. Put that on top of that. All right, I just realized I was using this completely backward. This is the part that you are supposed to put the seal on with, but, and maybe you can go back and watch my valve stem oil seal video. Hopefully I did that right. You put the valve stem oil seal inside here, and use this to sit it on and seat it at the same time. And then this side, which I took the whole thing apart with, is actually the side that you put everything back together with. So you put the spring on, you put the retainer at the top, you put the keepers inside, and then you give it a push. And one of the keepers didn't seat all the way. See if we can get it in there. Better. I think that's all the way. Well, now I just took everything back off. I can use this little screwdriver to keep her where it needs to go. Seems like this worked much better when it was in the engine. All right. That time it worked. Now I'm just going to tap on these to make sure they're in there all the way. And they are. So let's work on the next one. And turn this around. That should have captured both keepers in there, and it did. Pulled everything apart. Here's intake valve seal number 2 and cylinder number 1. Looks like it's seated pretty well. See how hard it is to pull up. Nope. It's definitely intact. There we go. I think it looks like it was in pretty good shape. Put the new valve stem seal. Slide it over the valve stem and press down. See if I feel it click. Yep, there's definitely a bump. Yeah, actually don't have to press that hard. Spring on, retainer, keepers. There we go. Man, some people can just slap these things together. I cannot. Switch to this side. Oh man, that didn't sound good. I don't know if it's good that this is magnetic or not. At this rate, you can tell why it's taken so long for this next video to get out, because I wanted to film all this head work. All right, let's try this again. Okay, it's on there, but I don't think it's seated all the way. Knock one of those keepers in. There we go. Did you hear that click? Intake valves, cylinder number 1, done. That only took half an hour. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to check to see if that valve guide was loose. I'm not going to take that back off to check it. I'm pretty sure it was good. We'll try to check all the rest of them though. Now let's go for the exhaust side. Get a different angle on this. There we go. Spring off of there. We can wiggle that valve. Moves nicely. Very tight tolerance. I can't wiggle it at all. I'll let you have a look. Looks good to me. See how hard it is to get it out. It's definitely in there. There we go. I'm telling you, they click on with a fairly satisfying click. So I can't imagine I got any of these wrong, but I'm human, it's possible. We'll see. I've been double checking all of these with my magnifying glass. All right, see if you can hear that click. Do you hear it? Spring. Sure that's seated. Yep. Get ready for the click. There it is. Totally seated. One is done. Now it's actually getting late, so I'm going to have to come back to this tomorrow. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. Let's see how supple they are. Oh, that's still soft. I don't know if you can see that flexing. And this is the exhaust side. Could probably leave all these in here. Show you what it looks like when it's not fully in. You can see how this keeper at the back has not fully dropped in the groove. So I'm just going to take this screwdriver, put it on that keeper, and give it a tap. Let's hit it one more time with the tool. That one's not slipping into place. It's a little high, I guess. Ah, that's better. Still not fully in, but that should click. There it goes. One thing about this tool is when it gets a little oily, it makes such a seal. It is so hard to get it in and out. See, that's compression there. Like, I'll put it in there. See, that's just, it's making its own compression. And it's staying, like the air's not, now some of the air's coming out. So it's very difficult to swap it around. Definitely seated, still nice and supple. I mean, that is nice and soft. That actually feels softer than when new. That's an exhaust valve seal. So I don't think so far we have anything to worry about with the seals, but there is zero play as I try to wiggle this back and forth. Now, a lot of people have commented they think the valve guides are worn or whatever, so I want to know how many people out there have had Toyotas that have had worn valve guides, because, you know, so far I don't think anybody said they had a Toyota with worn valve guides. But please let me know in the comments, because it's got to happen, right? Listen for that click. You ready? There it is. I can never get this second keeper in the first try. There it goes. Nice and supple. Zero play. Click. Oh, one and done. All right. Ooh. Click. That didn't sound good, did it? When it does that, when you're putting them in, the keeper gets wedged in here. I gotta pick it out. It's my dog pacing around upstairs. It's actually why well, not that. The noise upstairs is why I stopped filming the other night, because my daughter was coming home on Easter break, and it was about time for them to arrive, and I knew as soon as they got here, you would hear all sorts of goings on upstairs. And of course, I wanted to see her when she got here. One minor thing. Don't tell anybody this, but she's a talker. So when she sees you for the first time, after she hadn't seen you, talks and talks and talks and talks and talks until you say, I really got to go to bed. I don't mind at all. It's very sweet. But obviously I couldn't do this at the same time. Thank you for your patience. I'm getting my camera so oily after filming these. Just so you know, I always have to go back with alcohol and paper towels and clean off all my cameras and stuff. Might be something that other people don't think about. It has to be done when making these things. That seal looks good from here. no play in the sides. Click. Click. Now that one came off easy. Yeah, there's something at the base of this one. I have to get a pick or something to get that out. See if I can get this out with a pick. Well, it's just a piece of rubber from the old seal. Could that one seal have been all the oil burning? No. There was oil in all the cylinders. And which cylinder is that? Well, that's number 3. So, wait, this is the exhaust side. This is number 2. So this is the cylinder that wasn't burning any oil. This is the exhaust, that's the intake. So this is cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4. It's interesting that that's the one that had a little funkiness going on with it, but the cylinder was working. Let's do the wiggle test. Lift it up, moves in and out, no side to side. Click. It doesn't matter if there's oil on it or not, it still makes great compression. I'm really actually surprised how supple these exhaust valve stem seals are, especially after all those chemicals. Click. Now I'm hoping to get this video out this weekend. This is Easter weekend, but of course, like I already said, my daughter is home from college, and if she wants to go on a bike ride or something, which when we go on bike rides they can be like 25 miles, then that might prevent this from getting posted this weekend. There we go. Next, while I'm thinking about it, let's look at the varnish in here. So that is pretty dark stuff in there. So I would think that this definitely did have stuck rings and clogged drain back holes at one time. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Looks like brand new. Nice and supple. No wiggle in the valve. Oh yeah, first try. First try. That's one of my favorite movie scenes. Now, the last 2 intake valves. Looks great. So far, the only questionable valve stem oil seal was one of the exhaust ones in cylinder number 2, which didn't really appear to have that much of a problem. Now we've got a lot of people saying valve stem oil seals, all that oil is obviously coming from the top end. It doesn't appear that way. Top end looks pretty good. Yes! Getting a little faster here at the end. Last one, and then I can start putting this video together. I did have pulling the pistons and everything already filmed, and I was going to release that video like right after the other one, but that's all I had filmed, and it really wasn't enough to make a great video. At least I didn't think so, so I wanted to go ahead and get all this meaty video to watch, but not too long. So next time we'll be putting all this back together. Oh, I also had to order a hone, so I called the Toyota place because I was looking online at some forums and stuff, and a lot of people were saying Toyota master techs say they don't usually hone anymore, they don't recommend honing or something. So I thought, well, you know, that'd be nice to not have to hone. Maybe you don't need to hone, but I called my local Toyota place and asked them about it, and they talked to one of their master technicians and said if you are replacing the rings, it's good to hone to to make sure they have a nice seat. You know, whether that really makes a difference or not, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. But another good looking valve stem seal. Wasted our money on new valve stem seals. And it came with the kit. It's probably cheaper anyway. But I will feel better knowing that all the valve stem seals are replaced and seated nicely with a satisfying click. Like that. Yes! You know what that means. I can go start putting this video together. Okay, we have to talk about those pistons. The rings and lands are absolutely squeaky clean. I mean, they look brand new. Now, I know there's no way to prove that one of the chemical experiments has cleaned them up. The only way to properly and scientifically prove that one of these snake oils has cleaned up the pistons would be to completely tear down the engine before one of the chemicals are used, pull the pistons to show they're stuck, gummed up, cruddy with carbon, the drain back holes are clogged, whatever, then put those nasty pistons back in the engine without fixing the problem, reassemble the engine, then begin the chemical experiments, pulling the pistons to inspect them after each and every experiment. Who's going to do that? No one. Ever. At least no one in their right mind. Though I wish they would. I certainly don't have the patience for it. I guess you could just drop the oil pan and do the drain back hole test like we did in the last video. And if they're clogged, reinstall the pan, try a chemical or two, drop the pan again and retest the drain back holes. But all I can say is I challenge anyone to scour the internet and find another oil burning 1ZZFE engine like this one that someone has taken apart and it did not have gummed up piston rings, or it had piston rings and ring lands as clean as this one. You can find tons of videos out there on these engines with stuck rings, but never pistons as clean as this. So here's what I say to all of you out there who have oil burners. I believe there is hope for a chemical fix. I believe one or more of these chemicals cleaned up our pistons. Which one or ones? I'm not sure. But if I bought another oil burner, here's what I would do. I would do the Berryman soak. Then I would run Valvoline Restore and Protect, changing the oil at least every 3,000 miles. I believe that's the best bet, but that's just my opinion. And it's the cheapest way to go, I think. I think that some of my rings were stuck before we did the Berryman B12 experiment, which I believe cleaned them up and lessened the oil burning. But I think that my low tension piston rings, having over 200,000 miles on them, just couldn't do the oil scraping anymore, especially when combined with those paltry oil drain back holes. But in the comments, many of you have testified that you have completely solved your oil burning issues or greatly reduced them with similar experiments to what we've done on this channel. So I believe there is hope for some vehicles that are just not absolutely worn out. Of course, we don't even know that these new pistons and rings that we're about to put in this car are even going to solve the problem, but we'll soon see. As always, thank you for watching. Please comment below, and I hope to see y'all in the next one.